Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today. Nope, that's not the beginning. You guys, it is so cold in Atlanta today. Although it's quite warm in this car. And I have on a very thin wool sweater from The Gap. It's really nice because it's like a wool blend. But it doesn't make me itchy, but it's thin, but it's still warm. So anyway, I say all that to say is I'm hot in this fucking car, even though it's cold outside. And it's early, so I haven't put my makeup on yet. I know you guys always be like, Roxanne, why you guys gotta be announcing it? I just have to announce it before somebody else say it. I know the hair is kind of fucked up a little bit. I told you, it's just time for something new. Give me next week. I'm gonna come fresh and correct on that ass. Anyway, you guys, this is just a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. Guys, first story up, and sad news. Hate to open on a sad note, but rest in peace to U.S. Representative and Chairman of the Oversight Committee and pioneer to the Civil Rights movement. Was on the front lines. We can say so much about Elijah Cummings because he's done so much for our community and even for just these United States. Just a leader. And I could even stretch that out to say a world leader. And I was saddened this morning. My husband sent me a text message. He had already left and he told me that he had died. And that one just kind of gave me a little hole in my heart. I didn't even know that he was sick. And they're saying that he didn't officially announce that he had been ill. I guess some people that were closer to him knew that he had been ill. But for the most part, he had kept that quiet. Continued to fight on the front lines, continued to be there for his community of Baltimore, Maryland, continued to, like I said, be the chair of the Oversight Committee, had made a commitment to getting y'all stupid ass president out of that office. It saddens me that, you know, all of his efforts, you know, he's not going to be able to see it recognized if it even happens. But I'm more saddened by the fact that, you know, we have lost someone who, if you ask anybody, I mean, when you're doing like the research on Elijah Cummings, everyone talks about, you know, his contributions to humanity, how he was, you know, he was the moral standard that people needed to go by, that he always was empathetic. Just the kind of person that you would want to have in the, you know, in politics, someone that was, you know, very serious about changing policies and trying to argue for the marginalized, those who are less, you know, less able or less willing sometimes even to argue for themselves. The little man. They say that he could speak to the politician, he could speak to the college student, he could speak to the stay-at-home mom, he could speak to the person in jail. He could be there for everybody, and everyone respected him as much. He was 68 years old, which is kind of young. Like I said, they're not saying what he died from, but he had some health problems over the last few years. I think they said that he had to have an aortic valve cleaned out a couple of years ago or something. Don't quote me, but I just kind of remember reading that he's had some medical procedures done in the last couple of years and even had suffered from an infection from one of his medical procedures, but he still would always come back to the office and represent. So very, very sad. The world definitely has lost in this one, a legend who leaves behind a legacy. And as we see all of our, you know, people from that era starting to die away, it kind of makes you be concerned about, you know, what's going to be the next generation of leaders. Who would you say is that those persons right now who we will talk about, or maybe our children would talk about after I'm dead and gone, you know, my children, my children's children, you know, who will they talk about as leaders of, you know, our nation and our community, more importantly? It's concerning. But anyway, getting back to Mr. Cummings, yeah, just very, very sad, and everyone has been affected. But we won't talk about him in sadness. Instead, we'll celebrate what he has meant to us, what he has done for us, and what we hope, you know, someone else will pick up the reins and, carrying on for him. He leaves behind his wife, Dr. Maya Rockymore. I believe he had a total of 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. And of course, leaves behind many constituents, colleagues, people who respected him inside of politics and outside, all over this world. Rest in peace to Elijah Cummings. All right, you guys, next story up. This one is frustrating. Tatiana Jefferson was in her home in the 1200 block of East Allen Avenue. This was in Fort Worth, Texas. At least I believe it is. I know it's in Dallas or maybe one of the suburbs of Dallas. It was 2:30 a.m. and Tatiana's neighbor called the non-emergency number for the police department and asked them to go and do a welfare check on Miss Jefferson's home because the front door was open, the light was on, but it's 2:30 in the morning. They were concerned. So Aaron Dean was the officer who was dispatched. He went to her residence, walked up to the front door. Now, I originally thought that the front door itself was open. However, they're now saying that actually the storm door was closed and locked. The front door itself was open. So I guess from far away, if you're looking in, it's dark and a light is shining inside of the house, it could look like the front door is actually wide open. But like I said, the storm door was closed. We keep our storm door in my house open all the time, all day, pretty much. And we don't close it until, that's if we're home. And we don't close it until the nighttime. So I'm just trying to give you guys a picture of what this man saw when he walked up. So he walked up to her home. They say that he peered into the front door of the storm door, didn't see any activity, continued to walk around. And I'm saying they say, but we actually see this on the body cam. Continued to walk around to the backyard of Tatiana Jefferson's and was kind of peeking around and looked into this window, saw her face, said, "Hold your hands up," and then shot probably a second later. Not enough time for anybody to say, "Wait a minute, I'm not a criminal, I'm in my own home, why are you here?" Anything like that. There was never any discussion between the two. He just saw her face and shot. That is so troubling because I'm sure everybody is all clear on how fucked up it is that this woman was actually in her own home at 2:30 in the morning. Okay, she was actually playing a video game with her nephew, her 8-year-old nephew. They're trying to say now that she had a gun, that, she pointed the gun at the window. They're saying actually that the 8-year-old nephew told the police that. However, it is not in the original report that they took from Aaron Dean. He only said that he saw her face and that he shot. Now, all of a sudden, there's a gun. Okay, but it doesn't even matter because one of the reasons is she had a license to carry a gun, so she could shoot if she needed to. The other reason is you're in her backyard. Of course, if you have a license to carry and you feel that your life is threatened or your property is threatened, then you are definitely going to pull out your gun. But like I said, it doesn't even matter. This woman was in her own home. The man never did announce that he was the police. It's dark. You're scared as a woman in this place with her child with her nephew who can't protect her, so the story is so jacked up all the way around, and it brings to mind how scary it is that even in your own house, I tell you, we go through these stories all the time, and I tell you, you're not safe at the malls no more. Oh, you're not safe at the churches no more. Now I got to say, you're not safe in your own fucking home, your own home. The police departments around the United States, this could definitely be an example of poor training. Also, the fact that they're sending people who are already afraid of Black people into neighborhoods to police them and feel that their only recourse is to shoot We ain't even having talks, you guys. We not even announcing that we the police. We not even trying to get any clarification on what is going on. Instead, we are just shooting first and asking questions later, I guess, if they alive to answer a question. The family is definitely trying to say that he was poorly trained, and he very well might have been. We can put the blame on both the police department and on Aaron Dean, but I will not know one thing. Aaron Dean needs to go to jail for what he did, because there's a life lost that was completely innocent. He did get arrested on a murder charge, and he is out right now on $200,000 bail, okay? Or $200,000 bond. I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but that story was so frustrating. When I heard it, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. In her own home? Really? And then when you see the video, that is even more frustrating, because damn, can you give me a second? You done shot as soon as you said hold your hands up. The woman probably couldn't even get her hands in the air if she wanted to. But we gonna definitely keep our eye on this story. I'm sure Dallas-Fort Worth did not need this story right off of the heels of the Amber Geiger case. And this is now bringing a whole lot of spotlight to that police department in particular. Something needs to happen there. But like I said, I do know that Aaron Dean needs to go to jail for what he did. Whether or not he felt like he was just killing a random person or a black person, he needs to go to jail. Okay, so we're gonna keep our eye on it, and when it all boils down and finishes up that case, I will definitely be here to let you know what was the outcome. Prayers up for her family and friends. Okay, I know that this is a tough time, and they've been catapulted into the media probably when they did not want to be. I'm sure they didn't want to be, not for something like this. And rest in peace to Tatiana Jefferson. All right, you guys, so this bomb cyclone storm, y'all, I had to look up what that was. At first, I thought it was like when they were talking about those thunder clouds. Remember, they were talking about that during the vortex and everything last year, how it gets so cold, and I guess the thunderstorms would be so loud because of the difference in the pressure or whatever. I'm not a meteorologist, but this bomb cyclone storm basically means a storm that gathers up a lot of intensity very quickly and then hammers down basically on a, on wherever it is raining down, and can wreak a lot of havoc. We have been having so many extreme weather systems the last few years, or I want to say the last 5 years. It's just been tornado after tornado, after hurricane after hurricane, after floodings, and now we got this bomb cyclone storm that's hitting up in the northeast area. So all my northeastern rock stars up there, it is heading your way. They're saying that it has, they expect it to knock out a whole bunch of electricity, and there are going to be a lot of people that they've got to, these things are always the same. Electricity is out, or power outages. You got rescue squads out because people get caught in floodings. The utility workers are working overtime to try to get things back up and running. Unfortunately, sometimes there are even deaths related to the storms. And so all I can just say, like I said before, is that my rock stars up there need to be safe, okay, and aware. I think that we are all starting to get used to these strange storms that we're having, and having to adapt to, weather systems that we just have never been used to before. I guess this is the new normal. But I just want to give a shout out to my rock stars up that way. Any of you guys who may be there, or family and friends that might be up that way, prayers up for all of you guys. Want you all to stay safe. They say that this system should be done, or significantly less damaging by the end of the day tomorrow. So hunker down for now, be safe, and we'll see you on the other side of this storm. All right, you guys, AmandaSeales. So this story has been around for 3 weeks. I meant to talk about it the very first week that I heard about it, and then I totally forgot about it. Then last week I was like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. We don't need to, that's probably going to die away. It's the 3rd week now. And people are still asking about AmandaSeales. She's still in social media about what happened. And if you guys don't know what happened, AmandaSeales was at a Black Emmy party in Hollywood, I guess about 3 weeks ago. And because she was uninvited, she was turned away. So evidently she had been inside of the party and then they put her outside of the party. Anybody who has been put outside of something, that can be embarrassing. Now, the particulars on this party is that it was being given by Issa Rae's publicist. Her name is Vanessa Anderson. To make a long story short, Vanessa does not like AmandaSeales, okay? And we know that because AmandaSeales actually tells us herself in a recent podcast of hers where she says, quote, Vanessa has never been nice to me ever. She's always had a curtness and she's always seemed to be bothered simply by my demeanor, my way of communicating with her, etc. At a certain point it became, well, this is not someone I need to speak to because I don't work for her. She doesn't work for me. There is no reason for us to interact for all intents and purposes. So we don't, unquote. Okay. So she lets us know in her podcast that Vanessa doesn't like her. And really, you guys, to me, the story don't get no deeper than that. Because you know, like I know, that if you are uninvited to a party and someone doesn't like you, and that someone is the one that's giving the party, why are you still showing up for the party? I don't give a damn if it was a Black Emmy party, you know, and it's in Hollywood and everybody, you know, all the Black actors and actresses in Hollywood are there. If the person doesn't like you, then you do not need to show up for that party, for their party. Okay, it's simple. Has nothing to do with Black women, supporting Black women, because you guys know she was upset that her cast members did not take up for her. Has nothing to do, I mean, it could have something to do with politics, but I don't really think so, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to have you in my party if I don't like you, okay? And I don't know why AmandaSeales felt that it was okay for her to show up for this party and think that she was going to be in there. But I'll give her a little bit of leeway. If she did just go to this party for the first time and get turned away, you know, I guess that would be a shocker. But this is the second time that she has done this. She evidently had gone to this same party, this same annual event the year before, knowing that Vanessa doesn't like her, knowing that Vanessa is the person that gives this party. And she was able to get in successfully. And I guess they didn't want to make a scene because AmandaSeales was a guest of Jill Scott's. Now, this is their high profile, you know, actress, singer. You know, everybody has respect for Jill Scott. And so out of respect, instead of making a spectacle of putting Amanda out, they just let her come on into the party. But you can best believe that Vanessa was like, I bet you that bitch ain't getting in my party next year. Okay, I'm sure she made a mental note and made it very clear that she did not want her there. Okay, so that on top of what I just told you guys, why would you go to a party when you already knew that there was some issue last time? Because she said that she just sort of was like, oh, I'd like to see you put me out, you know, and I'm Jill Scott's guest. You know, she had already realized that they weren't going to do it then. I guess her mistake this year was that she didn't walk in with Jill Scott again. You know, like, I don't really know what to say about it. Because for me, it's just that simple. I'm not going to a party that's given by somebody I don't like, and I don't want nobody that I don't like at my party. And if it's that serious to me, I'm gonna get your ass put out too. So, you know, I know that AmandaSeales has made it be about her castmates, you know, not coming to her defense. Some of them have spoken out with the supporting cast of men. It hasn't been any of the women, but you know, the men basically called her a mean girl. Okay, you can't have a fucked up ass attitude and then expect people to want to go to bat for you. They're saying that Issa Rae didn't want to get involved. Okay, that was not her fight to fight. I mean, I guess she could have if she wanted to get involved, but she didn't want to. Issa does strike me as the type that don't want to be ruffling feathers like that. Amanda does strike me as the type that can be combative at times. And so you just can kind of see how that goes. Now, the thing about it is, if she hadn't gone on social media, we would not have known anything about it. Okay? Yes, it's embarrassing to get put out of a party, like I said, but unless you was there, the rest of us wouldn't even have known about it. So she definitely wanted to make this story, you know, make a point with this story. I don't know if it has helped her or hindered her or harmed her, My most concern is what's going to happen to Insecure when it's time for them to start, recording again, because it should be coming up soon, and it won't be the first that the cast members don't get along, or if there's one person in an ensemble cast that, they don't really like. I mean, I tell you, I was so super surprised when they said that Terry Hatcher didn't get along with all the rest of the women on why do I want to say Designing Women? Not Designing Women. On Desperate Housewives. They said that Terry Hatcher was a bitch. Okay? And you've heard about different shows where people have had to, Sex and the City is another one. Jessica and Blonde, the one that plays Samantha, they didn't get along, and they were on a show successfully for years. Okay? I think it's probably gotten worse since they've gotten off the show, but it can work. Okay? But, I wonder what exactly is going to happen, because Amanda doesn't seem to be the type that forgives easily, and I just hope that it doesn't throw off the balance of that show. Now, they could very easily, take a lot of her character out of the script and all, but she's part of the group, so I would like for her to still be there, but I don't know. It's just. But you guys, it ain't deeper than that for me. Don't go to a party if you're not invited, especially if the person did not like you. But what is it for you guys? Do you guys see it differently than I do? Did I miss something? Okay, was there more to the story that, because I just kind of did some surface reading on this one. I didn't get all deep into, everything else. So if I missed something, if I'm incorrect, you guys, go have at it. Let me know, but it's simple for me. Don't go. All right, you guys, in the next story, I guess I could have put this in Quickies, but something tells me that I'm about to start pontificating, you guys. So, excuse me as I get my notes together. There's a mega church out here by the name of New Birth. Many of you might know about it, okay? It has been in the news a whole lot. I don't need to go over those stories, right? We've talked about it in depth, okay? New Birth is on a new path, shall we say, and has tried to rebrand and trying to, have certain outreach, trying to gain, grow their membership, trying to take that negative stain off of the church and, turn it around for good. One of the things that they've done trying to achieve that is brought in Jamal Bryant. Okay, and depending on how you feel about Jamal Bryant, he may be or may not be a good addition. Okay, but I will say that New Birth is everywhere. They're on the radio. I hear commercials on the radio for the church, and they've got a lot of community outreach programs, and they're really trying to put their foot into the community and let people know that they're here and they're new birth. Okay, so we got all of that. On this particular Sunday, they had a guest preacher. His name was Bishop I.V. Hilliard. He was up in the pulpit, and evidently it was a star-studded Sunday, as we had T.I. and his family. Okay, we had Killer Mike, 2 Chainz, his family. I think I saw, did I see Monica in the picture? Maybe I didn't. But anyway, you see what I'm saying. There's a lot of who's in Atlanta entertainment. They were in the congregation. And after they had given one offering, they say that Bishop Hilliard went on to ask for a second offering. Now, if you've been to mega churches, and I won't even say just mega churches, but I know that it happens more often in mega churches. If you've been to these very large churches, there will be many times where they ask for more money. And this is all under the guise, because you guys, I don't like prosperity gospel. It bothers me. I think it bothers a lot of people. But you'll get a pastor or a bishop or reverend or whatever you want to call it in the pulpit, and he is pressuring and hitting up for lack of better words, hitting up the congregation to keep giving more and more and more money. Now, I understand how the church works. I'm telling you, my mom was, even in the small church that I was in, my mom was always a secretary or a treasurer. She had many jobs. I used to get the back stories on the bills that need to be paid and what was missing, what they couldn't afford, what they were in debt with. I used to see all of that. So I understand very clearly that churches have bills that need to be paid. The bigger the church, the more bills that they have. I understand that staff, including the pastor, has a salary. I know all of that. I got it all. Yeah, I got it all. But what I don't like, and what I think many people don't like, is for you to continue to make me feel like I'm watching my bill collector in the pulpit tell me, I know you can give. I think they actually said that he said, come on, y'all, get your blessings heard. Okay. That would bother me so much. They were turned off, and they actually said they felt like he did this second and I think even a third offering because of the star-studded people that was, in the pews there. But, you shouldn't feel like you're being extorted. You mean to tell me God is only going to hear me if I give $1,000? Otherwise my blessings will be blocked. I mean, you hear that kind of talk pretty often in that whole prosperity gospel message. So, as much as I hate to agree with T.I., you guys know T.I. just kind of get on my nerves, because I just feel like he's sort of like intelligent adjacent, because to me, he gets so much credit. People always say T.I. is one of the, the community leaders in Atlanta. Well, really seems to kind of surround himself by the Killer Mikes, because Killer Mike to me is very intelligent, very well-spoken, well-versed. You can tell he reads up on things and everything. And T.I. is just like the rest of us, just, with common sense about some shit that we didn't read in the paper, But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I do actually agree with them. There's just no time or place for that to me in the church. And if it gets to the point where it's feeling like the church can't pay its bills, then we need to have a business meeting. Everybody needs to sit down, look at this paperwork, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that especially as a guest pastor, like what you getting extra money for? So did I ever tell you guys about the story about when I saw when we went to James Cleveland's church? I don't even know if James Cleveland was really considered a prosperity gospel preacher, but I used to sing in a choir, and we had to actually sing at an afternoon service at James Cleveland's church. After his service, we had to actually sing at a third church for that evening. So we had agreed to sing at his, whatever the service was, it was an anniversary or what. We had agreed to sing there, but we knew that we were going to have to leave afterwards and go to this third church. So anyway, we got into the church and we sang our song, and, the spirit was high and all of that. And then, once we got off of the stage and we were coming down, everybody was getting their stuff and we were trying to quietly walk out. Child, how about they locked the doors? Okay. Told us that we couldn't leave until after offering. And we were like, what do you mean? They would not let us out until after offering. And when the offering actually came down, it was this very same thing. Reverend Cleveland was in the pulpit himself, and he was asking everybody to give and give and give. I think they took like 4 offerings up that day. 4, you guys. And it was the very same thing. Oh, I know you got more to give. And it's just sort of like, you gonna make me not give no money. As a matter of fact, I'm mad now that I already gave on the first offering, and then you come with these 3rd, 4th, and 5th offerings. It's unfortunate because my mom loved James Cleveland. She used to, old school, loved to listen to his albums and all of that. And it's a shame that my memory of this gospel legend is this. Okay, because I actually have more memories, but out of respect, we not even gonna go there. But they locked the doors, you guys. It's just terrible. And I just just don't like to feel guilted into anything. I go to church to be uplifted, to hear the word. I know that God, blesses the cheerful giver and everything, but sometimes the cheerful giver just then gave all that they can. I know I just pontificate. I told you guys I was going to talk longer than I needed to be. But yeah, you guys, have you guys ever been in a church? I know out of all the people that are watching this video, there's many of you guys who have been in this very same situation. Maybe I can get a rock star out there who actually believes in the prosperity gospel. Maybe you guys can kind of weigh in, chime in, because I thus far haven't really spoken into anybody who actually completely supports prosperity gospel and can give me a real good explanation on why this type of gospel works. But it works, because Creflo Dollar is still Creflo Dollaring over there by my house, not too far from my house. So yeah, you guys, what y'all thought about all of that? Did you agree with Killer Mike and T.I.? Yeah, I did agree. There's no place for that in the church. Not to me, anyway. And then lastly, you guys in Quickies, let me get off this phone, because since I've been on this video, both Mr. and Debbie done called me. I had to put the damn phone on airplane mode just so I can get through this. Just a couple of quickies. Congratulations are in order. Okay, well, depending on who you ask. Okay, to 37-year-old KekeWyatt. She has announced that she is having her 10th child. Okay, and that is her first child with her new husband, Zachariah Daring. Now, it goes without saying, I'm not having 10 kids. You probably not having 10 kids either. Okay, to me, once you get past 3 kids, that's a whole bunch of fucking kids. But that does not mean that it's a problem that somebody has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. I mean, that's why we are here. That's why that's supposed to be the main reason why women were put on this earth. Okay, so that we can populate the earth. So I can't be mad at Keke. KekeWyatt is perfectly fine because she has 10 kids. Okay, she obviously is married. Okay, she wants her 10 kids. She takes care of her 10 kids. She don't ask people for help for her 10 kids. And to me, that's all that matters. Girl, you got it. So people getting mad or just really just dumbfounded. I mean, yeah. I mean, back in the day, women used to have 10, 12, 15 kids, So even though it's not the norm anymore, it's not that big of a deal. Let Keke have all the babies that she wants. I bet you she ain't even got to go to the doctor no more. She can probably just get up in the morning, have a baby, and then later on that night cook dinner. But yeah, I'm fine with it, you guys. It's fine. I'm not having 10 kids, but that don't mean that anybody else can't. Congratulations to Keke and Zachariah. And lastly, you guys, fist pump of righteousness to Simone Biles. She has the all-time record for the most medals by any gymnast. Okay, and that means any race, any nationality, and any gender. She now has 24 medals, and 18 of those are gold. Okay, and I'm just happy for Simone Biles, because if you know anything about her background, like, I don't know much about her, but the things that I have read, she hasn't had the most easiest life. Almost became a part of the foster system. Her grandparents raised her. Her brother just recently was in the news for a double murder, as the main suspect. And she's able to achieve so highly, even with all that going on in the background. Okay, that lets you know, I always feel like some people are just born destined with greatness. And in whatever field or whatever it is that they do, there's just some people that just has that is in them, and she's definitely one of them. So congratulations to her. The good thing about it is she's young. Like, she can still make, widen the gap so it's harder for anybody to get her record. She's continuing to win, so I'm happy for her. And like I said, fist pump of righteousness for that black girl magic. You just ain't gonna get enough of it now, are you? All right, rock stars, that is it. I'm gonna get off of here, get on back to work. You guys, we do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars, bye.